Man, the shenanigans are crazy right now on this show. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to KRSTV. This is your boy Kenny. Now remember, subscribe to my channel and click that bell so you can get notifications every time I drop a video. Also follow all the information I have in the description box as well as the comment section. Also like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. Now before I get started with this review, let me send a special shout out to the GMHC crew, which is Gay Men's Health Collaborative. If you are in the DMV area and would like to get tested for HIV, reach out to us at the GMHC crew. You can have the kit mailed to you, or you can call and make a same-day appointment and come to the location to pick one up. Also, if you're interested in getting set up for PrEP, which is HIV prevention, please reach out to the GMHC crew for that as well. Also, if you're a fan of KRSTV and would like to become one of my Black Diamonds, visit my Patreon today. Black Diamonds, because in darkness we'll still shine. For $3 a month, you get all of my content as well as special videos that are specifically designed for my Black Diamonds. So check out my Patreon. Also, let me send a special shout out to my YouTube partner BK World 2, which is the Black Netflix. You get shows from Love and Hip Hop to this show that I'm reviewing here, The Haves and the Have-Nots. So after you watch this review, go into my description box and comment section and click that link to check out BK World 2 today. Now, this is the Haves and the Have-Nots Season 8, Episode 2, and the name of this episode is Power of the Purse. This was a decent episode, and let's just say I'm starting to see a whole lot that's about to go down. So let's begin. The episode picks up where it left off with Derek and Hannah. Derek has gotten the keys, so he let himself into the choir residence. Him and Hannah are standing face to face. Hannah is not here for the games at all. She even pulls a knife out on him, and he's like, "Is it like that?" And she's like, "Yes, it's like that." And he's still trying to plead his case that he's a changed man and all that. Now, Derek, I'm about to give you some tough love, bruh. Yeah, you may have changed your life and you have given your life to the Lord, which is good. But you cannot put that in the sea of forgetfulness. You raped that woman. You have created trauma, and that same trauma she displaced on her daughter. So it doesn't matter how many prayer packages you buy or how much God you have into your life. You can't erase the fact that you raped and violated her. And she has to live with that for the rest of her life. And he's like, aren't you gonna forgive me? She's like, I have forgiven you. But she let his ass know, like, I'm the power of attorney. You are fired. And, you know, you love the Lord and you want to see him one day. You're going to see him a lot sooner if you show up around me ever again. And she ended up calling the police. The police showed up and they started questioning him, and she says that, oh yeah, he's the help. He used to work here. I was like, oh, Hannah gave no cares about Derek. And then they asked him, they see his ID. He's like, I didn't do anything. And she's like, well, he was just leaving. And they was like, I need to see your ID. And he didn't want to give it to him. But eventually he gave them the ID. They went to go run that ID. And his ass has a warrant for assault. And I'm like, that's going to be some shit. And I'm wondering who's behind that. So I think in due time we're going to find out what's going on with Derek. Because now Derek's ass on his way to jail. And I'm like, but hey, I really have nothing against that. Because I'm like, bruh, you know, you got a whole bunch of shit in your closet. Which explains why Candace is so ruthless. She gets it from her daddy. The apple didn't fall too far from the tree. So they done arrested Derek's ass, so that was the end of that. Then we go to the hospital. Jim is acting like a straight up asshole. He's going off at the doctor, saying the doctor, I need to get the hell out of here. I don't care about this and I don't care about anything. I need to get the hell out of here. And, the doctor says, okay, fine. Well, I can't force you. He's like, you damn right you can't force me. I'm leaving. So just, get my shit and I'm getting out of here. And then Marty shows up and Marty tells him, I got disturbing news. Wyatt is here in the hospital. He had another suicide attempt or whatever. And he pretty much is trying to tell Jim, well, Jim, you need to relax. He's like, I don't need to relax, Marty. Don't tell me what the fuck to do. Help me to get dressed and all that, because I'm getting the hell out of here. And take me to my son. Then we get this showdown with Celine and Jimmy. Jimmy is hell-bent on tearing down Jim. Celine is like, I got it covered. I got everything set. I got everything covered. I got it set up. And, because she's working on this whole thing to take him for money, with Veronica. But we all know the power of the purse is not in Jim's hands right now. But, Jimmy's like, I should have killed that son of a bitch when I had the chance and all that. I'm like, Jimmy, you went in there with a toy gun. All you doing right now, Jimmy, is that you're a mad kid who didn't have his dad and you're just lashing out. Because then the next thing you know, Jim walks up on them and they go back and forth. And he was like, oh, do you know that we're being evicted because of you? He's like, I don't give a damn whether y'all being evicted or not. Get the hell out of my way. He's like, I had to go check on my real son. And he's like, oh, you mean the drug addict? Yeah. And he'll have a hell of a lot more money than your sorry ass will ever have. I mean, Jim was just straight up disrespectful. Was talking all kind of buku shit. Then the chief of the hospital came and tapped Celine. It's like, I need to talk to you. So Jim walks off. Celine goes to talk to the chief. And pretty much they said, I got word that you've been harassing a patient. And he was like, and because of this, and she starts begging and pleading, like, I need my job, please, I didn't do anything. And then she starts talking about, well, this man ruined my life, he ruined my son's life, he's never been there for us, and blah, blah, blah. And he was like, look, I'm not gonna fire you, but this will go on your file, and if he makes a complaint again, you will be fired. But now remember, it was David who did that shit, it wasn't Jim. And she's pleading and everything. He's like, look, this is the best you're going to get. So take what you can. So stay away from the patients and from Dr. Memes. So that was the end of that. So Celine got written up because of David and almost lost her job. And he said that they wanted me to fire you. I chose not to fire you. So yeah, Celine, take what you can get and chill the fuck out. But yeah, that was crazy. But it just goes to show how ruthless Jim and David are. And we really see how ruthless they are in this episode. So then Jim goes to see Wyatt, and he's pleading like, I'm sorry, Dad. Hi, Dad. He's like, oh, it's Dad now? And he's like, please, just send me upstate. I'm sorry. And he's like, I don't know why I did what I did. He's like, I know exactly why you did what you did. You're an addict. An addict who tried to kill me. And he's like, please, I'm sorry, Dad. I didn't mean that. I can't stay in jail. Just send me to rehab. Send me to rehab. And he's like, yeah, I love you, Dad. And Jim was like, yeah, okay. He's like, Dad, tell me you love me. Please, tell me you love me. I'm like, Wyatt is so damn pathetic. Oh, my God. I'm like, the life of me, I'm still trying to understand why Tyler keeps resurrecting him from the dead. I mean, he's like a putty cat. I did saw a putty cat, and his name was Wyatt Cryer, because every time you turn around, this motherfucker keeps living, and he's still on the same old shit. It's like he don't learn anything. So we see that Jim does love his son, and he says, I love you, you sick son of a bitch. And then he leaves, and then that damn cold ass Wyatt was like, I wish I would have killed you, you bastard. I'm like, y'all should have just let that motherfucker die, because he doesn't give a shit. He literally is, Jim's son, because he's just ruthless. Then we see that finally David comes, and him and Jim, go back and forth. They talk about Wyatt, and he says that, they talk about Jeffrey, and that, Jeffrey's doing really well for himself and all that. I'm like, yeah, little do y'all know. But then he pretty much says that, my son is saying he wants to go to rehab, but he definitely needs to pay for what he did to me. And I'm like, I agree. The problem with Wyatt is that Wyatt never has taken responsibility for any of his actions. But that's all Jim's fault too, because every time Wyatt did something, Jim would come in and clean it up. So Wyatt, in his mind, is programmed to think that's how the world works. He ain't nothing but a spoiled brat with a drug habit. Bad combination. So, David says he's going to reach out to Jeffrey and see if he can come and visit Wyatt. Pretty much, Jim also lets David know that my plan for Veronica is in place. And he's like, you sure you want to do this? And then David's like, shoot, I wish I could kill the bitch twice. And then he also mentions that they need to go visit Catherine. So then we get a scene with Madison and Jeffrey. Jeffrey, I swear, that damn Veronica did a number on Jeffrey, because Jeffrey is laying there with Madison, and he is just thinking about what his mother's up to and what she's about to do. And pretty much he had told Madison, I saw that you were tossing and turning, is because you're thinking about what my mother's going to do. And he's like, and Madison says, it doesn't matter. You're worth it. I'm like, okay, Madison, you putting yourself in her target, and you may not live to tell the story. Just saying. And they talk about Kobe, and she says that, and he was saying that, what about Kobe? And then Madison's like, well, I'm going to be honest with you. Kobe is just as much of a bitch as she is. So she kind of got her match there. He's like, well, I don't know about that. Knowing my mother, she's plotting, and, she's not going to be satisfied until you, me, and him meet our demise. And then, like, Madison's like, you sound like your mother. You're talking about your mother like she's a witch or something. And he's like, she is. She is, and she's very calculating. She's plotting right now. This is what she's doing. And he's just really, you can just tell that, yeah, Veronica has done so much shit to Jeffrey that Jeffrey is just paranoid. And then all of a sudden his phone rings, and it's David telling him to go see, Wyatt. And Jeffrey was about to tell him about what went down with his mother, but he says, I'll be at home in a few hours. We can talk then. So Madison gets Jeffrey in to see Wyatt because Wyatt can't have any visitors. But then again, his father just came in there, so, So pretty much Wyatt was like, is the guard still out there? And Jeffrey was like, no. He's like, fine. Now I can escape and get the hell out of here, And he's like, I'm not even worried. I'm not going to jail. I'm going to go to rehab. My father's going to fix everything. And Jeffrey was like, dude, you have a case with the DA. You just tried to kill your father. Like, you're not just going to walk away from this. And he's like, well, I'm going to go to rehab, and I'm going to fix this, and I'm going to be okay. And he's like, it doesn't work like that, Wyatt. Like, I just liked how Jeffrey was just going in on Wyatt, telling Wyatt the real deal, that, dude, you committed a crime. You just can't walk away from this shit. But it's that spoiled brat mentality that he has. And then he starts talking shit to Jeffrey. He was like, you're not my friend anymore. And Jeffrey was like, we're still friends? He was like, and Jeffrey was like, you need to grow up. And he's like, and you need to straighten up. I was like, oh no, you didn't, Wyatt. Not all the dicks that you've taken and all the dicks that you've sucked. Do you think you need to tell somebody to straighten up? If you don't get your shit together, Wyatt, got a nerve to be homophobic when you've been, gargling and spitting off of dudes just to get hits and shit, and you've been raped multiple times. You've got more dick in your life than Jeffrey. Jeffrey's just starting to get the D. And then he's saying, like, I hate you, get out, leave me alone, and blah, blah, blah. And Jeffrey was like, fine, I'm good. I mean, he kind of made this thing like, oh yeah, and by the way, I'm getting it too, and it's curvy. I'm like, I like that, Jeffrey. I'm like, Jeffrey, yeah, let him know I'm living my life. You the one that's, creating nothing but havoc and problems for yourself because you can't live in your truth. So then we see Catherine. We see that Jim goes to see Catherine. If any, the first thing she asks about is Wyatt because that's her main concern. She don't give a shit about Jim. And then pretty much he's like, well, hello, how are you? I just got out the hospital. And then she sits down and is like, hello, Jim. Hello, Kate. I was like, the two of them are so conniving, it's hilarious. And she tells him, like, well, you don't need to worry about anything. You're not in the will anyway. He's like, don't bullshit. She's like, it's not BS. You're not. Because remember, back in season 1, when she was about to have surgery for cancer, she told Hannah to tape this video where she pretty much disinherited her entire family. But then he tells her that I got a plan to help get you out of here, but it's going to cost money. And he's like, I don't want to go back to the house. I want to stay at the loft. She told him she sold it. But remember, Broderick is still in that damn loft. I can't wait till that shit gets exposed. And then she says, well, won't you go to the hotel? I mean, after all, you got a revolving door there anyway. And then he pretty much tells her that Marty's working on your bills. Like, well, he need to hurry up because I ain't getting any younger. He need to hurry up and get me the hell out of here. And she says that, and he tells her that, look, they got a solid case, and he starts telling her, it's like, just say it. Jim G. Golly, you were right. She was like, Jim Golly, you're a piece of shit, and I'll just hope you. And she just goes off, and he's like, well, and then she's like, guards, and he's like, boo boo, this ain't like room service. You just can't make requests in jail. You're in jail, sweetheart. And she calls the guard, and he was like, oh, they actually came. She's like, yeah. And remember, my name is still Catherine Cryer. And he's like, just say it, Jim G. Golly, you were right. Come on, Big Orange. I'm like, Jim is an asshole. Like, dude, you talking all this shit, but you ain't got no money. That little $8 million that Candace got was the little money that you had. You ain't got shit. And then we pretty much see finally David takes Jim home. They actually go to the house, and they pretty much talk about Wyatt. They talk about Catherine. They talk about Veronica, and then he says that, and David mentions that after what she did to Erica and what she done to my son, all I have is blind rage for that bitch. And then they start drinking, and Jim is doped up on medication, but Jim don't give a shit. So they start talking, and they discuss the whole $8 million that Candace took, and that, he needs to, I'm not, and she said, I'm sorry. Then Jim lets David know that she got the Malones on her team. You know how vicious Vinny is, and now Vinny's the head of the operation now. And then he said that she did Mama Rose a favor. So, they're protecting her. And Mitch came up in here, and then all of a sudden that brought back memories for David, Mitch and Benny. And he pretty much says that they will ruin me if I just didn't let it go. But he says that, no, we need to work out a plan to reverse that whole situation. And then, like, that damn David starts with the damn bullshit and starts telling Jim, well, you know that Catherine's in jail. So you need to figure out a way to get power of attorney. Not realizing that that's already been assigned. But he's letting them know that, hey, you need to try to get power of attorney. Because, she could lose everything if she gets convicted. So he's like, yeah, we'll work on that. So he asks David to help him upstairs. They go up into Catherine's room. Hannah is there on a laptop, still studying, Catherine's estate. And then all of a sudden he's like, Hannah, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, yes! I love the ending because I'm like, you about to get a reality check for your ass, Jim. Because right now you out here still smelling your own ass, thinking you running shit, but you no longer have the financial backing anymore. So that's gonna be the tea once all of that gets explained. But yeah, not really much happened in this episode, but you can see that the plot is starting to thick. Because next week, we see Hannah take a damn fire poker and she wailing on David and Jim. So I can't wait to see what goes down next week. Because, the power has shifted. The ones who used to have are now becoming the have-nots. Jim is now a have-not. And we're going to see how this whole situation plays itself out. But that's what I got, y'all. If I missed anything, get down in those comments and let me know what you think. But yeah, I was so over Wyatt and his putty cat bullshit. Being a damn junkie and being so entitled. And it's like Tyler keeps giving him 9 lives. And I'm just over it. But I liked it how Jeffrey, shot his ass down with his old spoiled ass. But that's what I got, y'all. So until next time, everybody, take care.